Here's a cute little drop leaf table that I got for free. Follow along, maybe make yourself a cup of tea and see what I do with this. After a good cleaning, the piece was flipped upside down and the claw foot covers were removed. I'm always impressed whenever all 4 of those feet are still intact. I want to use some Dixie Belle mud to cover some repairs that were done, but I need to make sure that the legs are really sturdy. So I use some wood glue and some clamps and make sure everything's good and sturdy before I begin that process. There were some screws that were driven in. Apparently this leg split before and someone repaired it. But they did a sturdy repair, and I'm going to leave their repair alone. I'm just trying to see if I can shore up those legs a little bit, make them a little tighter, and also just to smooth out what they did. So I kind of countersunk a little bit farther into the holes that they did to try to get their screws farther down in, and then I'm just using some wood glue to just tighten things up. The crack where they made their repair wasn't smooth, so I'm using the mud just to smooth it out, and I just simply use the knife and just put it on and let it dry. While the mud is drying, after a cleaning, I use gold gilding wax on those foot covers, those claw foot covers, and it really brings them back to life. When the mud is all dry, I simply sand to smooth it. The painting begins, and I'm using Dixie Belle's Silk in the color Nautical. Silk has a built-in primer and sealer, so it's really a one-step paint, especially when you're using a dark color. As I find out later, this wood's a bleeder, so if you're using a light color, you would want to use a primer like Dixie Belle's Boss, which is an odor and stain blocking primer, but using this dark color, it's just fine. The leaves were also removed when it was flipped, so I painted the underside of the leaves and all around the edges with the nautical color as well. Before it was flipped, we put the leaves back on. Here's a teacup stencil I got from Wish, and all my design plans revolve around it. I'm using Dixie Belle's Silk again in Oyster, Whitecap, and Baja Gray. All of the jars are kind of low on paint, so I just keep dipping in each jar using the same brush just to blend those colors together. My goal here is sort of a cement kind of look. Remember before when I mentioned bleed through? Here's where it comes into play because I'm using that light color. And even though this paint has a primer in it, it's not enough to block the tannins in the wood because I sanded the top and exposed some raw wood. After it was dry, I ended up coming back in with Dixie Belle's Boss in gray and covering up the spots that had bled through. Here you can see it's already starting to come through. After that dries, then I cover up my cover-up again by blending in the 3 colors of silk that I used. Hey, guess what? Now you can become a channel member. For only 99 cents a month, just click on the join button and you can help me to decide what content to put on my Tuesday talk show. Plus, get some exclusive content. Watch last Tuesday's talk video for a full explanation of the channel membership. I'll link that in the description box. But it's super easy, just click join. And hey, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that while you're at it and make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content. I sure do appreciate you. My channel's growing and just thank you for watching. And now the fun begins. I'm going to let you watch this process as I use the teacup stencil and also the cloche stencil that I got from Roycycled Stencils. I'm taping little bits of the teacup, so I'm just going to let you watch and enjoy this part. I also use the color Harbor silk paint for the teacup stencil as well as the nautical. Note that I freehanded the white and also filled in the gaps on the handles to make it look a little less stencil-y and more hand-painted. As a final touch, I use grunge glaze in gray to shadow the sides of the cup to give them more depth. I also used that when I stenciled the cloche. As much as I love these teacups, this is my favorite part of this project, oddly enough, because it was the element that brought it to life. I also used a little bit of the white cap on the cloche to give it the dimension of having light reflecting off of it. When all the painting was done, I gave everything a sand down with a 220 grit sanding sponge. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like this video, how about giving it a thumbs up and also share it with your friends? If you haven't subscribed, you'll want to do that so you don't miss anything. Visit us at LaVintageDecor.company, and on Instagram we're LaVintageDecor, and on Facebook we're LaVintageDecor Altoona. Stay well.